Power List is actually a really simple way of establishing positive habits and accountability for taking actionable steps towards your goals.
It's not really about the goal, it's about you. Like, you're stepping into the person you need to be to make that goal a reality. I'm Stephanie Keith.
And I am Tara Manjekovic, and we are unapologetically outspoken. Hey everybody, welcome back to Motivation Manifestation Monday. As a quick reminder before we get started, go check out our Etsy page and look at our stickers, buy some stickers, support the show, and join our Patreon. Okay, so Stephanie, we all know that one of my biggest inspirations is Andy Frisella. Talk about him all the time. I've done 75 Hard a couple times. It's completely changed my life. And to be honest, if I hadn't started following the Real AF podcast a few years ago, I likely would not have taken the stand that I did in my own life and started speaking out with you on this podcast. So today, I want to share another really powerful thing that I have learned from Andy Frisella that has also significantly changed my life in a really positive way, and that is the Power List. So if you haven't heard of it, the Power List is actually a really simple way of establishing positive habits and accountability for taking actionable steps towards your goals. And all you do is you complete 5 tasks every day that move you forward towards whatever your goal is. And Andy calls this winning the day. So when you get up in the morning or the night before, you write down 5 critical tasks that you want to complete by the end of the day. And if at the end of the day you've completed all 5, you quote win the day. And if you don't, then you lose the day. It's, again, very simple, very effective. And it's a way to make sure that you follow through on the commitments that you make to yourself every day. But I cannot explain it anywhere near as good as he can. So I'm going to play a clip from episode 16 of the Real AF podcast. And that was from, I think, back in 2020. And it explains how the process works and why you commit to only 5 tasks.
Right? Here's the deal. Every single day, you've got to win the day. Ben and I both use that phrase all the time. I can't tell you how many times I text my dudes or call my dudes or call people or talk. I'm like, look, dude, just win today. Just worry about today. Make a habit of winning today. And that's what the Power List does. It helps you win the day. All right. So when you're first starting out on a goal, whether it be business, whether it be fitness, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You're in a process of changing your actions. You're in the process of changing things that are so ingrained into your brain that anything else seems like tremendous discomfort, tremendous work. All right. It's a pain in the ass. That is normal. It's not just you. It's not just, your goals or your situation. Every single person who ever attempts to get in shape or whoever attempts to build a new company or progress in their career goes through that process because you're breaking habits, all right, and replacing them with new ones. So on day one, the way the Power List works is this. You're going to take out a sheet of paper. You're going to write at the top, day 1, Monday, all right? And let's just for argument's sake, I'm going to make up some points. You're going to take the list. You're going to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the page. All right. And you're going to put in those spaces 5 critical tasks that you're going to do that day. All right. And this is important because I see people misusing the Power List. They're putting a Power List and they're putting like goals underneath it. It's not a fucking goal. And this is a what to do
you
today.
Either do it or you don't do it. It's a choice.
This is actionable things that you are going to do. All right. So on January 1st, 2016, this is what mine most likely looked like. I could go back and find it, but I'm just going to tell you what it looked like. Do cardio for 40 minutes. Lift chest, because everybody knows Monday is International Chest Day. All right. So eat 6 meals that are on my program. All right. Then I'm going to call this person about this project and have a conversation with them. All right. And then I'm going to read my 5 to 10 or my 10 pages because I was out of the habit of reading at that time. All right. Now, as I do those things, so after I do my cardio, I'm going to draw a line through it. All right. This is important. After I get done lifting my weights, I'm going to draw a line through it. All right. After I eat my last meal of the day where I didn't cheat and I didn't eat shit, I'm going to go through and draw a line through it. All right. These aren't in order. You don't have to do them in order. It's just the things I've got to do. Critical tasks that will move you forward. All right. We're not talking about brush your teeth. We're not talking unless you have a problem brushing your teeth. You know, if it's a problem for you, go ahead and put it in there. All right. But I'll explain why this is important in a second. After I make my phone call and talk to, you know, this business opportunity and have that conversation, I'm gonna cross it off. All right. After I do all my things, I'm gonna cross it off. And at the end of those 5 things, guess what? I put a W on the page for win. All right. Now, I want to bring a couple things to your attention. One, everybody always asks, well, how come I don't put 18 things on there? This is why you don't put 18 things on there, because you can't fucking do 18 critical tasks in a day. And you're not that disciplined to get all those things done every single day. So we're going to keep it real fucking simple. All we want to do is tick the needle forward a little bit. All right. So if I did those 5 things, that was a win. Go to the next day.
Okay, so that he says a lot more, but that kind of sums it up. Like, I highly suggest listening to the whole episode because it also talks about the power of visualization, and he spends like another 20 minutes talking about the power list. But that clip I just played gives you the gist of how it works. And it works for every aspect of your life. You know, whether you are creating a business or you want to take your current business to the next level, or you just want to be a better parent or a better spouse, or you want to learn a new skill, whatever it is you want to do in your life, the power list will help you get there.
You know, I love how he has you like cross everything out, because there's something so satisfying about like crossing off your list. And I feel like it's giving you a win every single day. It's giving you that little like feeling of accomplishment. And so I'm sure there's all kinds of psychology associated with that, but I like that. And I like writing it out too. Like, that's what's so satisfying, writing it out and then crossing it out with like a pen or a pencil. And I want to highlight what you're saying about like, this does not have to be about business or income. Like, it could be about improving relationships, health, your mindset, like anything in life, because I'm the type of person, like, I am always throwing things out of balance because I feel like I'm always so focused on improving my business and my income. But rarely do I sit down and think, okay, what are my goals for my health or relationships? And like, what can I do to make that better? And the reality is, when one area of life starts suffering, it affects every other area of life. So I think it's really important to kind of take inventory of your life as a whole and think about what areas need the most attention right now, and start creating some actionable items with those areas.
Yeah, exactly. And the one thing that he also makes clear is that it's important to realize, like, these 5 critical tasks that you're committing to every day, they're not supposed to be easily attainable goals. They are small action steps that you take that create that momentum that enable you to reach your goals over time. It's the little steps that help you create confidence and that mindset of winning the things that you thought weren't possible or were going to be too difficult to achieve. And it's like, you take these you take these steps on a consistent basis, and that helps you, work towards accomplishing the big shit that you want in your life. And one of the things Andy says is, quote, big goals inspire big actions, and big actions produce big results. And so the way you accomplish this with the power list is you're basically developing a new mindset by getting into the practice of being consistent every day. And the way Andy puts it, when you win enough weeks, you win the month. When you win enough months, you win the year. And when you win enough years, you win your life. And so essentially, the power list helps you commit to tasks every day that will result in developing more self-confidence. And then you start taking ownership over your own life, because every time you win the day, it moves the needle forward in your life.
Yeah, and I love that it's not really about the goal, it's about you. Like, you're stepping into the person you need to be to make that goal a reality. You're becoming more confident, more disciplined. Your mindset is probably more positive by these little things. And it's a great way to frame the year, because I think that we typically create these big goals in January, right? Like everyone sits down, they make a big, huge goal, but then never take it to that next step where you break it down into small, actionable steps. Like, what are you doing day in and day out to make this goal a reality in your life? And we just skip that part. And then the next thing you know, it's mid July and you're no closer to your goals than you were in January, right?
Yeah, exactly. And like you're supposed to choose tasks that make you slightly uncomfortable because the whole purpose of the power list is to challenge you in establishing these positive habits that move your life in a better direction. So you don't put the easy shit on there. It's like you said, you don't put brushing your teeth on there. Like you put tasks that make you uncomfortable, but that are going to help you grow. And then you choose to commit to getting whatever that is done every single day.
Yeah, your dreams happen outside of your comfort zone. So if you're fine with being in the same exact place next year as you are right now, then go ahead, be comfortable. But if you want to grow and you want to improve your life, which I think everybody does, you have to start stepping out of that comfort. And for me, I view comfort as being very dangerous. It's a dangerous feeling because it doesn't give you a lot of motivation for change. And your subconscious is always going to fight the discomfort. But if you can break these uncomfortable situations into these little daily tasks, it just seems a lot easier and more doable.
Yeah, and I also want to point out that like your list doesn't have to be different every day. Like if you're trying to create certain positive habits, you might have the same task on your list for like 30 days or more. So let's say you want to establish a habit of drinking 100 ounces of water a day. So you put that down as one of your tasks every day until it becomes a habit and you just naturally start doing it without needing to remind yourself and cross it off your list. And when that happens and you get to that point where you're just doing it as a habit, then you take that off the list and you replace it with something else that you want to work towards accomplishing.
Yeah, I heard something the other day where I think it was in a podcast, and they were talking about when you do something intentionally for 30 days, it creates a new neural pathway. When you do it for 60 days, it forms a habit. And when you do it for 90 days, it changes your life because at that point, it just becomes natural and you don't even have to think about it. So, just like you were saying with the water, it's just a part of your lifestyle. And at that point, then you can go and move on to the next thing. So Tara, like what are some examples that you've implemented with this?
So I first started the Power List on December 26th of last year. And this was when I had set the intention that I was going to focus on personal development and like working towards becoming the next level version of myself in 2023. So when I made my first Power List, like I didn't put exercise on my list because that's something that I was already committed to every day. And I don't need to remind myself to go work out. But when I wanted to establish the habit of doing like Tony Robbins morning priming, for example, like I wanted to do that every day when I woke up. And I did put that on my list because at the time I was doing it sporadically and I wasn't committing to it every day, even though when I did do it, I always felt better starting off my morning. So my mindset with putting that on the power list was okay, this is something that moves me forward in my day and sets me in that mindset and headspace to approach my day differently. So I put morning priming on my list until I got to the point where it's become a habit for me. And now it's the very first thing I do when I wake up in the morning. So I took that off and I replaced it with something else, another habit I wanted to establish. So for example, right now, I'm working on completing some training certifications to move myself forward in my career goals. And they're honestly time consuming and it takes a lot of commitment. And when I look at the big picture of what I want to achieve, it often feels really overwhelming, especially with all of the other responsibilities and tasks that I've committed to. So it's really easy for me to just like put off the training I need to do. But instead of procrastinating, I'm using the power list as a way to move an inch forward every day. So I'm committing to small steps like, okay, I'll write down for the day, complete one chapter of the curriculum, or spend 30 minutes studying, or listen to one audio lecture from one of my training programs. So things like that are what I'll put on my power list. And it keeps me accountable with gaining momentum one day at a time without getting overwhelmed by the larger picture of trying to complete my entire overall goal.
Yeah, I think that feeling of overwhelm is the biggest thing I hear from people around manifesting their goals. And I think it's just that simple, like breaking it down into small actionable steps. And I remember, I think it was like last year, and I was explaining in one of my inner tribe calls about how, when you do what you love, it doesn't feel like work. And there were people that were commenting like, yeah, but you have worked your butt off, and you've like gotten the app up and running and the podcast. But it felt like I didn't work at all because I broke it down. I didn't like look at it as I'm going to have this app with all this content. I looked at it as, okay, every single month, I'm going to add a subliminal audio and a workbook to the app. And then every week, I'm going to hold a Zoom call and save that recording in the app. And in that year, I amassed this huge library of content. And if I would have looked at that end result in the very beginning of like, let's say 100 pieces of content, it would have felt so overwhelming. And I probably would have thought like, there's no way, it's impossible. And who knows, like maybe I would have given up. But by focusing on it like 1 month at a time and then 1 week at a time, it felt effortless. Like it did not feel bad at all. And then like same thing with this podcast. It's like we're almost at 150 episodes. And if we had told ourselves in the very beginning, like, okay, we have to do 150 episodes by this date, it probably would have felt like an unattainable goal.
Oh yeah.
But it's like we broke it down into these easy tasks. And like, I'm thinking just about today without even really implementing this list yet. It's like, we do the first task, which is texting each other and deciding on a good topic. Then the next task is like researching that topic. And then the next task is writing notes. And then the next one is recording. And then the next is editing and uploading. And there you go. Like you have a whole episode. And we've done that 150 times, which is like amazing. It seems
Yeah.
so, I don't know, it gives me that feeling of accomplishment, but doing it a little bit at a time and just looking at the next day or the next week ahead has seemed totally reasonable.
Yeah. In the way you just broke that down, it's funny because I was putting show notes in the other day and I was like, oh my gosh, we're almost at 150 episodes. And it does seem effortless because of the way we're doing it. And I like how you just broke that down. And, I'll be honest here, like, I don't win every day. I've been doing the powerless for what, 7, 8 months now, and I don't win every day. And sometimes I lose several days in a row. Like life gets in the way, shit changes in my schedule. I'll set my intention and I'll write down all the tasks for the day. My day will go awry and I don't always get it done. So instead of putting the W at the bottom of my page, I have to put an L for loser and circle that, or lose the day. But instead of giving up and saying like, fuck it, I start over again the next day with a new list. And 90% of the time, I get my 5 critical tasks done. And it has been completely life-changing for me in terms of staying accountable to myself, not procrastinating, and not putting things off.
And that's just it. Like with these Monday episodes, I feel like there is this recurring theme of accountability for yourself and for your actions and for your life and getting out of that victim mode and doing something about it, like taking the steps needed to create the life that you want. And we all have that ability. And I just love this idea because it really breaks it down into something that is absolutely manageable. So, I'm definitely going to be doing it, and we could talk more about it in the Patreon group too. But I hope that this just gives everyone a little bit of momentum for the week. Like set your 5 things down. Whenever you have a moment, get out a piece of paper, do it right now. Like write the 5 things you're going to complete. And I'm telling you, it is going to feel so good to cross those things off and to put that W on it instead of the L.
Yeah.
So
And I honestly, a lot of the time, I will do it the night before because, sometimes you wake up in the morning and your day gets started and then you get busy and then you like may not have the time to sit there and go, okay, what are the 5 things I want to do today? But if I think about it the night before, like, what do I want to accomplish tomorrow? And I have my list already done and then it's like ready to go in the morning.
yeah, that's a really good point. Like do it the day before and then put it somewhere where you're going to see it first thing. I like that idea. All right. Well, that's what I'll be doing for the remainder of the week. And I hope that this motivates you to do the same. And we'll see you back here next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're sick of all the crazy shit going on in our country and you want to express your support and patriotism for the show, head on over to our Etsy store at UO Patriot Chicks and check out our new stickers. The link can also be found on our website. If you love the show and you want exclusive episodes, support the podcast and join the conversation by becoming a member of our Patreon community. We'll be posting weekly member-only podcast episodes and content that isn't available on the weekly podcast. Every Patreon member will also get a free Unapologetically Outspoken sticker and updates about our new sticker release before they're made public. And be sure to follow us on TikTok at Unapologetically Outspoken. And if you haven't done so already, please rate and review the podcast. The more you support us, the more people we can reach. So help us spread the word.